Have you ever wondered why it's so easy to get addicted to your phone, but not to your textbooks? Like, seriously, you sit down to study and suddenly your brain is like, hey, how about we scroll for just 5 minutes? 5 minutes turn into 30. Then suddenly it's dinner time and the textbook is still staring at you like, bro, really? Now, here's the crazy part, it's not your fault. Your brain is simply addicted to dopamine, the feel good chemical. Every time you check your phone, get a like, watch a video, or open a notification, your brain gets a tiny hit of dopamine, and it loves that feeling. But when you study, that same brain says, ugh, no thanks. That's effort. That's boring. That's slow. So you get distracted, you procrastinate, and maybe you even start believing that you're just not a disciplined person. But let me tell you something that might completely change how you see this. You don't need more discipline. You need a system that makes studying addictive. And yes, it's actually possible. Once you understand how dopamine works and how to use it the right way, you can rewire your brain to crave studying the same way it craves social media. Sounds insane, right? But keep watching. I'll break it down. Let's start with a simple truth. Your brain is a dopamine machine. It constantly looks for the easiest, fastest way to feel good. In the past, that used to be things like food, social interaction, even nature. But today, it's TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, Instagram. Your brain gets hit with fast dopamine every few seconds. Scroll, like, share, laugh, repeat. Boom, boom, boom. Constant stimulation. Now imagine you go from that to a textbook with no lights, no sounds, no rewards, no nothing. Of course your brain resists. It's not being stimulated. It's like going from a roller coaster to a slow walk in a library. So the first step to getting addicted to studying isn't to force yourself to work harder. It's to lower the noise. Step 1, dopamine detox, the chill version. I'm not telling you to go live in a cave. Don't worry. But if your brain is flooded with fast dopamine all the time, it won't find studying enjoyable ever. So here's the chill version of a dopamine detox. Pick just 1 hour a day where you do no fast dopamine activities. That means no phone, no YouTube, no music, no social media. Just silence. Or boring stuff like walking, journaling, or cleaning your room. During that hour, your brain starts to calm down. It starts to reset its dopamine baseline. And suddenly, reading or studying doesn't feel as boring anymore because your brain isn't expecting TikTok-level stimulation. Do this daily, and your attention span literally grows. You'll notice that it becomes easier to sit with one task. Even reading becomes kind of peaceful. Step 2, tiny rewards equals big results. Remember, your brain loves rewards. So let's give it some. Every time you finish a small task, like reading 3 pages, doing 25 minutes of focus, or writing a paragraph, give yourself a reward. But here's the trick. The reward must come after the work, not during. So don't scroll between every page. Instead, set a timer, say 25 minutes of study, 5 minutes of break. This is called the Pomodoro technique, but we're going to make it fun. Here's how. Use a timer that feels satisfying, like a cute app or a visual countdown. Create a reward box. It could be a snack, one YouTube video, music, stretching, or chatting with a friend. Tell your brain, work first, fun after, then repeat and repeat and repeat. It sounds simple, but this teaches your brain to associate studying with positive emotion. And once that connection is built, you'll want to come back to studying because it leads to a small dopamine hit, not pain or boredom. Step 3, make studying a game. This one changed everything for me. Instead of saying, ugh, I have to study 4 chapters today, I started saying, let's see how fast I can finish this part without getting distracted. Gamify it. Set mini challenges. Can I write this essay in 20 minutes? Use a study streak tracker and aim for a new personal record. Give yourself points, stars, or levels, like it's a real-life video game. Sounds silly? Sure. But your brain loves games. We're wired to chase progress, to unlock rewards, to win. So turn studying into a challenge, not a chore. Even a small shift in how you frame it can make it 10x more fun. Step 4, romanticize the vibe. Let's be real. Studying isn't always exciting, but what if you make the experience feel special? You know those TikToks where people have cozy lighting, a hot drink, ambient music, a clean desk, and they're taking notes like they're the main character in a movie? That's not fake. That's smart. Because when you make studying feel aesthetically enjoyable, your brain goes, I kind of like this. Try this. Clean your desk, Light a candle, make tea. Play lo-fi or nature sounds in the background. Use colorful pens or digital apps that make you enjoy the process. It might sound extra, but trust me, your brain responds to atmosphere. If studying feels good, you'll want to keep coming back to it. Step 5. Fall in love with learning again. Now here's something deeper. Most people don't study because they love learning. They study because they have to. But the people who truly get addicted to studying, they're not just chasing grades, they're chasing growth. They've trained their brains to see learning as power. Every new thing they understand feels like unlocking a new level in life. So ask yourself, what excites me? What do I actually want to know more about? How does this subject connect to the future I want? When you attach meaning to what you're learning, your brain pays attention. It goes from, ugh, I have to learn this, to wait, this is kind of cool. You don't need to love every subject, but you can love the feeling of getting smarter. And once your brain starts enjoying that feeling, that's when the real addiction begins. So now you're probably thinking, all right, I get the idea. Dopamine, rewards, routines. That makes sense. But how do I actually start? Like tomorrow? Let me show you a simple routine that builds this study addiction step by step. And it's so easy, you won't even feel like you're forcing yourself. Morning setup, the dopamine prep. When you wake up, your brain is the most sensitive to stimulation. So here's what most people do. They roll over, check their phone, scroll Instagram, maybe watch a video, and boom, dopamine overload before they even brush their teeth. That's a problem, because now everything else in your day feels boring by comparison, especially studying. So try this instead. First 30 minutes, no phone, no social media. Just you, some quiet and maybe a simple habit like journaling, stretching, or making your bed. Write one small goal for the day, not 10. Just one. Example, study chemistry for 25 minutes, or finish my essay intro. This creates a calm dopamine baseline, so when you do start studying, it doesn't feel like a punishment. Study blocks that don't suck. Forget long, painful sessions. You don't need to study for hours to make real progress. Instead, use this method. Set a 25-minute timer. Choose one task. No multitasking. Reading, revising, solving problems, whatever is most urgent. Put your phone in another room. When the timer goes off, take a 5-minute break. Now repeat that cycle twice. After 2 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. That's it. That's the core routine. And if you're thinking, but that's too little, let me ask you this. When was the last time you studied without distractions for even 25 minutes straight? Start small. Build consistency. Make it feel easy and satisfying first. Once you build momentum, you'll naturally want to do more. That's how addiction works. And we're just flipping it in your favor. Trick your brain with temptation bundling. Here's one of my favorite hacks ever. It's called temptation bundling. Basically, you take something you love and only allow yourself to enjoy it while doing something productive. For example, only listen to your favorite playlist when you're reviewing notes. Only drink your favorite coffee when you're at your study desk. Only sit in your cozy study spot if you're doing focused work. You're telling your brain, hey, studying equals good stuff. Studying equals comfort. Studying equals reward. Over time, your brain starts linking those two things together. So instead of thinking, ugh, I have to study, you think, oh, it's study time. I get to do X. That's dopamine association at work. Use it. Track your progress, not just results. One major reason people quit is because they don't see their progress. But here's the thing. Motivation comes from evidence. If your brain sees proof that you're improving, it gets excited to keep going. So keep a simple tracker. It could be a calendar where you mark every day you studied, a checklist of topics you've covered, a streak counter like 7 days in a row equals small treat. You don't need a fancy app, just make it visual and satisfying. Every time you mark progress, your brain gets a little dopamine hit, and that keeps the loop going. Mindset shift. Don't fight resistance. Work with it. You know that moment when you don't feel like studying? When everything inside you says, let's just do it later? That's not laziness. That's resistance, and every human feels it. But instead of trying to fight it like a battle, try this. Tell yourself, I'm not going to study for an hour. I'm just going to open the book and read one paragraph. That's it. Just start. Because once you start, even a little, Your brain gets into motion, and it's way easier to keep going than to begin from zero. Starting is the hard part, but once you're in it, you build flow, you build focus, and it becomes easier than you expected. Repeat the loop, reinforce the habit. Here's the full loop we've built so far. Lower dopamine noise with mini detox moments. Attach rewards to small tasks. Pomodoro plus fun breaks. Make it a vibe. Good lighting, snacks, music. Gamify with trackers, points, and streaks. Use bundling to link studying with pleasure. Start small and let momentum take over. You're not forcing yourself to study. You're training your brain to enjoy it. And once that switch flips, everything changes. What happens when you get addicted to studying? Here's the truth that nobody tells you. When studying becomes a habit you like, you stop needing motivation. You stop saying, I should study, and start saying, let me knock this out real quick. You stop dragging your feet and start feeling proud every time you sit down to work. And no, it doesn't make you a nerd or boring. In fact, it makes you unstoppable. Because while everyone else is stuck scrolling, you're building skills, gaining knowledge, investing in your future, quietly becoming dangerous in the best way. Final thoughts. Look, I'm not saying you'll fall in love with textbooks overnight, but if you apply just a few of these ideas, even one or two, you'll notice something weird. Studying doesn't feel like punishment anymore. It starts to feel kind of fun, even satisfying. And that's the beginning of the addiction. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel motivated. Just start. Tiny, consistent, rewarding. Turn your brain into your study partner and watch how fast your life changes.